How do you deal with perfectionism in editing? That's the topic I'm addressing today in The Right Question. I'm Daphne Gray Grant, the publication coach, still in pandemic mode. I have a question from Françoise Allard, a writer based in Toulon, France. Here's what she's asked by email. I have a strong need for perfection, not in writing, because I write easily and quickly, but in editing. I worry that the different topics on my blog aren't going to be coherent enough. I know that my fear of exposure is deep and irrational, and I wonder if you have any suggestions for me. Thanks for your question, Françoise. I address the topic of perfectionism fairly regularly on my website. In the show notes below, I include a link to another video and a blog post as well. But the point you raise is different in a really interesting way. You tell me you don't have difficulties with writing, but with editing. In fact, I think it's more precise to say your problem is with publishing, with being seen and judged. While the tips I offer about how to overcome perfectionism with respect to writing may help you, let me also offer some tips related specifically to publishing. Some of us worry a lot about what other people think of us, and this anxiety stops us from doing things because we're scared about how we're going to look. But according to studies by experts, these fears are misguided. See link in the show notes to one such study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. We assume that other people spend far more time passing judgment on us than they actually do, and we overestimate how negative their perceptions are going to be. Now, I know it's one thing to hear about studies like this and another to actually believe them, so let me give you 4 concrete tips that should help. 1. Understand that the need to be perfect comes from a need to be liked. This is a symptom of anxiety, so take whatever steps you need to keep your anxiety in check. This may include getting counseling, starting to meditate, see link in the show notes, or using cognitive behavioral therapy. This is something you can do for yourself using a book I recommend in the show notes. 2. Get help from others. If you're really worried that your blog posts aren't quite up to snuff, then get feedback from others. This third-party verification should be helpful to you in terms of letting go of concerns about the quality of your work. Let other people tell you when the quality is good enough, and be sure to believe them when they do. 3. Understand that you cannot control what other people think. Have you ever had the experience of a really bossy person, perhaps a parent or a teacher, telling you what to do or how to behave? Remind yourself that as human beings, we have the right to our own opinions. Don't try to interfere with the opinions of others because you wouldn't like someone else to do that to you. 4. Remind yourself of your own values. If you believe your blog is communicating something important and useful for your readers, and I bet that you do, why would you want to deprive them of that information? Instead of thinking about yourself and your own needs, think about the needs of your readers. Your blog is going to help them, even if it isn't perfect. Putting yourself in the shoes of your readers is probably the most helpful thing you can do to overcome this anxiety related to publishing. Finally, let me wrap up with the words of the American teacher and writer Anne Lamott. Perfectionism is the voice of the oppressor. Françoise, I really feel for you in your predicament. Even though your fears may be irrational, they're entirely understandable. As you work to keep your anxiety in check, try to focus on serving the needs of your readers. If you'd like to learn more about how to make your writing a happier and more rewarding process, check out my latest book, Your Happy First Draft. It's not available in bookstores or on Amazon. The only place you can get it is my website, linked below and in the show notes.